We all pay the cost, pay dues. Move with the mind state that I can't lose. On the grind, push a hard line with my linemen. Back when I was young, I said it's all about timing. Feel it's my time, all the stars are aligning. I'm a diamond in the rough, couple cuts got me shining. This game you cannot cop on consignment. In the field, all we do is execute assignments. The game should be sold, not told. So we finna keep everybody broke. They say time is money. They say money talk, I ain't got no time to waste if you ain't got no time to talk. The game to be sold, not told. So we finna keep everybody broke. They say time is money, they say money talk, I ain't got no time to waste if you ain't got no time to talk.
First, we get into this paper. See, I want it all, plus a mule and 8 acres, a lot of alcohol, few dad bags of paper. Run this shit like a ship and I'm the sailor. Cold, kinda like it's fresh up out the freezer. Cold, if she ain't talking bread, I don't need her. Soon as I meet her, I'm a fucker, then I leave her. It's the old Mac needs, treat them all like bottom feeders. Break it down slow for them folks that don't know. I'm a seasoned vet, black belt out the dojo. With a wide range of weapons, so I'm out the holster. Keeping all options open, so many ways that I can fold ya. Told you from the gate, never been about no play. Get it on the go, they never been known for no delay. The game should be sold, not to be told. Keep your mouth shut, don't have to break the mold. Magnes.
Break the work down, it's fence the move. Push that work out, I distribute. Break the work down, it's fence the move. Push that work out, I
just
distribute.
a young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out the foreign or I'm hopping out the Uber. Crew clocking chips opposite of you losers. Can't be broke as a joker, got no sense of humor. Just a young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out the foreign or I'm hopping out the Uber. Crew clocking chips opposite of you losers. Can't be broke as a joker, got no sense of humor.
I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. You know I'm the boy, get money's what I'm used to.
Keep it straight from the gate, so I don't confuse ya. I'm a D-boy, need abusive as users. I'ma make noise, shout to my producer. I'm an entertainer, but I ain't here to amuse ya. Yeah, fuck with shooters, then they all fucking users. Come through, wake that ass up like a rooster, hella early in the morning. Early bird gets a worm. Finna get rich for 'em, food for the worms. Cutting cocaine, dumping whole things. It's a cold game, make you run your gold chain. Hungry, but I'm moving in a keto state. For sure, I beat the price on the keys in your state. Catch me running up a tail, fucking up a bag. Make me wonder how long will a good thing last. On my Curtis Mayfield, live a life I can't chill. Push a man, pushing packs, all I do is make squeal. Keep it 100, I'm just numb, yo, I can't feel none of these suckers when they say they real. Stacking Uber cash, I'm an out-of-state supply. Random Uber man, here to get away drive. Just a young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out the foreign or I'm hopping out the Uber. Crew clocking chips opposite of you losers. Can't be broke as a joker, got no sense of humor. Just a young pack mover, shot to my consumer. Jumping out the...
What is good, everybody? Welcome to the show. Officially 2 days away. Hammer in the building.
What's happening?
Ain't nothing much. Another day. What up, Pops? Hussin here. Philip. Kev. New intro song. Bogey on the beat. One Nation. What up? Mike Scott. What's goody? What is goody? So, yeah, we got some horrible, terrible news today. Everybody
Could have been worse. Held their breath.
Struck fear in everybody. But Kelsey goes down. apparently everything came back okay, so nothing to do with the ACL or anything. So we'll see if he winds up missing week 1. I mean, do you just sit him and say, "Fuck it, we got the whole season,"
Oh,
or
if
do we
you're the
roll
Chiefs.
him out there?
I think it's really twofold, right? If you're the Chiefs, maybe you do consider sitting him. But if you are fantasy managers and he's, maybe 50-50, you got to roll him out there, right? If he's active, you got to roll him out there. It's just the bottom
Of
line.
course.
There's a handful of guys in the NFL, particularly in fantasy. If they're healthy, you just got to roll them out there and take the chance. That's just the bottom line. And Travis Kelce probably tops that list of guys that you roll out there, even if he is active but might not play as much. So definitely the NFL fantasy football world held their collective breath when I got like 4 separate notifications from like Fox Sports, ESPN, ESPN Fantasy, Sleeper, all at the same time.
I mean, I only have him in 1 league. So my opponent has him. Yeah, I mean, lucky for you. In week 1, you get to dodge that bullet. But yeah, this would shake out fantasy big time
Big
because
time.
he was a top 5 pick. Like he was going, 4th, 5th. You're lucky if he went any later than that. But yeah, I mean that's your first round pick. So if you lose that, I mean that's a big loss.
And even worse for those guys that have the stack with Mahomes, because we've seen a ton of these teams that you guys have been asking us to comment on and different things where it has Mahomes and Kelce. That seems to be something that a lot of people are doing this year, especially in redraft, is stacking Mahomes and Kelce. So not only does it hurt you if you have Kelce, just on his own, but it hurts you if you have Mahomes too. I have Patrick Mahomes in my home league, and that's a 2 quarterback league. So I'm counting on Travis Kelce to be out there and be that dude for my homeboy. So it affects a lot more layers than just Kelce himself.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I only have him in 1 league, but whoever went, Kelsey Mahomes, that's your 1-2. I mean, you're not getting Mahomes past, lucky if you get him in round 3, depending if you got it like if people are waiting on him. But damn, man. But I mean, I'm not worried about it. Kelsey is a guy that you've got to just let die on your team, unfortunately. So,
and to be quite honest, it feels like we kind of, not we, but yeah, we fantasy the fantasy community, kind of dodged a bullet really, because initially when I got the first notification, it said hyperextension. And then it was crazy because another notification popped up maybe like an hour and a half later. And all I saw was ACL. And I was like, oh my God. And then obviously I opened up the notification. But yeah, it feels like he dodged a bullet because at the end of the day, if he misses 1 week, it could have been a lot worse. So just kind of look at it that way. There's enough depth, or there's enough guys that you can go out there and get if you just have to plug them in for a week or 2 at the very most. So don't panic.
yep.
But I know a lot of people's heart skipped a beat around like 3:00 today.
Oh yeah. Well, I seen some of the doctor's videos came out, and he started talking about it a little bit. Huss also did a little, I think, short on it.
So
But
they
yeah,
said that there was 2, like really quick. I did see something like that where they say there was 2 kind of different hyperextensions. There's one that like affects the hamstring, and then one that affects like the ACL. So I guess there's 2 kind of things on that. They said the one he has kind of affects the ham, or could affect the hamstring. But yeah, relatively speaking, it could have been a lot worse.
not as bad. Marty, is Jerry Judy still injured? Jerry Judy was born injured. I mean,
I don't know if that's fair, but
yeah, he's still injured. Apparently they didn't put him on IR or anything like that, so he doesn't have to miss any kind of games. Apparently, he was back, I think, on the practice field doing some kind of
stretching.
conditioning drills or stretching or
Yeah.
something, if I'm not mistaken, was the last I saw. They haven't officially ruled him out, but I don't think he's gonna play game 1.
I don't think so either. And I have Jerry Jeudy in our subscriber league. And it was a little disappointing because, I was counting on him to kind of really solidify my wide receiver room. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Jeudy. But the last notification I saw, it said that he did some stretching and stuff, and I guess light work conditioning. So that's a positive that he's even doing that sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It would be a lot more bleak if he just wasn't doing anything. So the fact that he's doing something, I guess you kind of have to be a glass half full on that one.
Yep. So why is nobody rostering MVS when he's listed as a starter?
Because we know what MVS is, and more importantly, we know what he's not.
You took the words right out of my mouth. We know what MVS is. He's every once in a while he'll catch a bomb or he'll have a decent game. But if Kelsey is out, and I just put a video out, I think I just let it out a couple hours ago. It's wide receiver, like kind of some must-start wide receivers, and not your obvious ones like JJ, obviously, and Garrett Wilson and St. Brown and all those
Under
guys.
the radar.
Guys that you might need to put in there. And Sky Moore was one of them because I think that he can take that middle of the field where Kelsey operates. So I think that he's a better play. Tony is playing also, so you got a healthy Tony who will be out there. And those are guys that they really want to get the ball to or get the ball in those guys' hands, where MVS is kind of just almost like a deep ball guy, and that's about it. So can he catch a bomb? Yes, sure. But for me, at least, I think Sky Moore or Tony would be better plays than MVS. What do you think, Hammer?
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think that, unless you're in like the deepest of leagues, would you even consider MVS now? Like you said, he's been known to surprise some people and catch a bomb and even take that for a touchdown. So there could be something there if Kelsey is out, and if Tony has a setback of any kind. But if it's just Kelsey out, I'm going with Tony. I'm going even Sky Moore. As much as I hate on Sky Moore, if Kelsey's out, you got to believe he's going to be the beneficiary of those. That's probably 10 to 12 targets that are going to be available, throughout the course of a game, and somebody's got to absorb that. So those two guys would definitely be the beneficiary of that. I'm staying away from MVS unless I absolutely have to in the deepest of leagues.
I'm playing Sky Moore, and I think in 2 leagues. I've got some injuries, and rather take the chance on Sky there. But anybody starting Addison week 1 in the flex, choice between Addison, Khalil Herbert, and Bateman.
Didn't we? I feel like we had a similar question yesterday. I don't know if it was Kevin's question, but I feel like it was around these 3 guys that we were kind of talking about as well.
Something like that. What do you think?
Yes, go watch our show yesterday, Kevin. I know you were part of the show yesterday. Hell yeah. I'm starting Addison in the flex over Khalil Herbert and over Rashard Bateman. I think Jordan Addison has he has the best path to fantasy relevancy quicker than any of the other rookie wide receivers, just because of the offense we talked about, the volume in which they play in that passing offense. Kirk Cousins is probably going to throw it 600 plus times this season. And he's the number 3, right? He's the clear number 3. And I like him for 7 targets. Maybe he converts 5 of those 7 targets. So, yeah, I like Addison as a play over Herbert and Bateman. You can make the argument for Herbert, but I think I like Addison's upside a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, they've got KJ Osborne listed ahead of Addison on the depth chart, but don't fall for that bull jive. Khalil Herbert, I just don't know, how much work he's going to get if he's the guy that gets the majority of the carries. He's never had a workload before. I don't think he can handle a full workload anyway. So I'm a little reluctant with Herbert. And then Bateman, you've got a full healthy receiving corps over there, for the Ravens with Zay Flowers and Odell Beckham. So I'm willing to hold off on Bateman maybe and go with Addison here instead of Herbert or Bateman. So yeah, I'm for Addison there. Nikki, what's up, Nikki? MVS couldn't do anything even when he was number 1 on the depth chart with Aaron Rodgers throwing to him. Yeah.
And to be fair, Nikki, he's been on Kansas City for I think a year. This is his second year in Kansas City or third year, whatever the case is. He's been with Patrick Mahomes as well, and still hasn't been able to convert that into steady production. So, no, we're not dealing with MVS. No, we're not doing that.
Randy, what's up, Randy? Just had a 12-man PPR out of the 8 spot. Okay. T-Law, ETN, Brees, Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, Go Dirt, Dotson, Flowers, Spears, Bigsby, Zay Jones, Chig, Niners, D, and Tucker. Yep. Okay. I like it. What you feeling, Hammer?
Yeah, it looks pretty good. To start, T-Law and ETN. Okay. Amon-Ra, AJ Brown, Goddard, Dotson, Flowers. Yeah, this is a really solid team. You don't have too many holes, honestly.
Oh, it's a good squad. I mean, obviously Brees might be held back a little bit at first, but apparently coach is saying there's no limitations right now, and they'll be splitting, but we shall see. We shall see
I
how that
think
goes.
I think Randy, the one thing, and Blanc, you were just touching on it. Just be patient with Brees Hall, especially through the first like 6 to 8 weeks. If he's only getting 10, 12 carries a game through the first month, don't give up on him. He will come through for you by the time the season's over. I just think the addition of Dalvin Cook, obviously, we know he's coming off the injury. The bottom line with Brees Hall is just have some patience, but I do like that you have ETN as well. You did pick up Bigsby, which is a nice handcuff. I love that. And then you got some upside guys with Dotson and Flowers on your bench. So overall solid team. Trevor Lawrence, if Trevor Lawrence takes that next step and he's a top 5-ish guy, then this team is kind of in good position. But yeah, really solid team, especially in a 12-man.
Brian Robinson, Michael Pittman, Mike Evans, Adam Thielen in my flex full PPR. Who we rolling with?
I think I might go Mike Evans here. Yeah, I think I'm leaning Mike Evans because Adam Thielen, he's a little long in the tooth for me. I think he will have his moments. Michael Pittman, I'm staying away from until I see what that Anthony Richardson offense looks like. And then Brian Robinson, I'm not crazy about him. He doesn't provide as much PPR upside as you would like. That's why they have Gibby. But I think that Bucks Vikings game, who the Vikings playing? The Bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that Bucks Vikings game has a chance to, be a 31-28 type game. And Mike Evans is still a really good receiver. Baker Mayfield's trash, but he can still throw the ball. So I'm going to go Mike Evans here.
Yeah, this one is tough.
And also remember, before Tom Brady got to Tampa Bay, Mike Evans was an accomplished receiver with not the greatest quarterback talent. So I still like Mike Evans to have a pretty solid season.
Who's the
What are you looking for?
who does Thielen play? Thielen plays the Falcons. Okay. Yeah, it's close for me between Mike Evans and, believe it or not, Brian Robinson, just because they're playing the Cardinals and I think he can get a lot of touches. I love Gibby as well, but it's just so hard to trust fucking Baker Mayfield, man.
I agree, but like I said, I think I have some faith in Mike Evans because I've seen him with not the greatest quarterback play, before Tom Brady got there, and he was still that dude. So I have faith in Mike Evans for this particular scenario.
I think I'm going to go with Evans as well. I feel more comfortable with him, even with Michael Pittman. I mean, does Anthony Richardson throw him a bomb? Possibly. Like, I'm okay with Pittman too if you want to do Pittman. I guess Pittman and Evans would be the two that I really look at. Whoever you like more. I think Evans has the best chance to score a touchdown just because of his size and, Viking defense. So I'll go with Evans there. That's a tough one. Raheem undervalued. Yeah, right now he is. I mean, he's got to stay
Who's
healthy
that?
though
Mostert?
too. So yeah.
We know Raheem Mostert's really good, and I think we talked about this yesterday as well, where with A Chain banged up, with Jeff Wilson on IR, it's Mostert full steam ahead right now. So if you ended up getting Mostert at probably a hell of a value, he should get some good work.
What do you think of Tony if Kelsey is out?
Even if Kelsey is in, I still have Kadarius Toney as a flex option. So if Kelsey's out, I like Kadarius Toney even more. But even if Kelsey is in there, Kadarius Toney is a flex option this week against the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, I like Tony, more with the ball in his hands than an actual like wide receiver. Like he's a guy they just try to get the ball to, put the ball in his hands, and let him make something happen. So yeah, I like Kelsey. I mean, I like Tony if Kelsey is out for sure this week. And like Hammer said, in most weeks you're probably gonna want to play Tony anyway, just with the upside. You'll be willing to rate my half PPR dynasty league. Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Wolfgang, throw it out there, Wolfgang. Let's check it out. Let's check out what we got. Bree's gonna be on my squad forever, yeah. Yeah, unless you get something that you can't refuse. But yeah,
Well, I
think
guess
go ahead.
I guess just my main point, with the Brees thing is to be patient. I think a lot of managers. I mean, the fact that it is dynasty, you kind of have to be patient for the most part. But even more so this year with him, because they did bring in Dalvin Cook. They do want to make sure that they protect their asset. He's a fantastic running back, and they're trying to win a Super Bowl. So they're not going to fuck around and give Brees Hall 25 carries right out of the box.
Mhm. So my wide receivers and flex are Ridley, Cooper, and Evans. Start Tony over any.
The only one that's in consideration is Mike Evans. That's the only
Mhm.
person I would consider starting Kadarius Toney over it. That's a tough one. So it boils down to Kadarius Toney or Mike Evans, and that's a tough one. I think that's a lot tougher than I would like to have to decide on. I think I would go with Toney there just because there's more upside, especially in a game against the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going with Tony over Evans. So Ridley, Cooper. You're not going to play Tony over Ridley or Cooper, I don't think.
No,
In any week, really. I think I'd rather play Ridley or Cooper than Tony in any particular week.
absolutely.
So, but for Evans, yeah, I'll play Tony over Evans, especially with the Kelsey most likely out. So, Tommy, what up, Tommy? Need a flex, full PPR. I got Pittman, Elijah Moore, Gabe Davis, Brian Robinson, or my dude Romeo Dubs. Pittman, Elijah Moore, Gabe Davis, Brian Robinson. So I'm on Elijah Moore. We're not playing Gabe Davis, and I'm not going to play Brian Robinson if I've got a choice with Elijah Moore or Pittman there. So give me some of Elijah Moore. I just put a video out of some wide receivers, to start for this week when you're looking at kind of that flex position or that wide receiver position you need to fill. So give me some Elijah Moore here, and they're going against the Bengals, so that could be some kind of high scoring game, possibly. At least we hope it to be. But for me, it's Elijah Moore. What are you thinking, Hammer? What you got here?
Yeah, as I'm looking it over, and with this many options, obviously our strategy is to start eliminating people and then boil it down. So I'm eliminating Gabe Davis. Obviously, I'm eliminating Michael Pittman. Brian Robinson, very interesting in this scenario. Romeo Dukes as well is very interesting with the Packers, but I think I'm going to have to roll with you on Elijah Moore. Although I would say don't be surprised if Romeo Dukes has a nice game. I really do like what I see, but there is a lot of competition for targets and snaps in that particular offense. Elijah Moore, we kind of know what his role is, right? He's the number 2 opposite Amari Cooper. You got Njoku underneath, and you got Chubb in the backfield. So I think Elijah Moore has a more steady path. He has a better floor than all of these guys. Let's just put it that way.
I like it. Going Elijah there. See you repping Ricky in the background. Yeah. Thanks to Huss, we got some of those just like sign back there a little bit. Then we got I got the hat as well. So repping Ricky. Appreciate Ricky. Shout him out. I'm Pat's 1997, Wolfgang says. I'm not sure what that means. Do you expect me to look up your dynasty roster? Just throw out there your starters or anybody important that you have. Nikki said, I've been having owners throwing offers for Elijah Moore for months. Yeah. And I've been telling everybody to go get him for months. After the season, when he was still a Jet.
I was getting ready to say that.
Go and get him. I got him for a third in one league. Like, I drafted him, and especially like after the season, sometimes you have startups and you take advantage of these guys that you get incredibly late, because the upside is crazy. Gave the link in the chat. He said, "Oh, I didn't get. I don't see a link here. I don't think that's gonna come through." Singletary, Reed, Smith, Shitter, Schultz, and Komet. Only one I with in the Debo league. Singletary, Reed, Smith, Schuster, Schultz, Komet. I think I'm looking at either Smith, Shitter, or Komet here.
Yeah, I mean Schultz was interesting.
He's on my tight end video.
Bears are playing the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might like Schultz here.
I'm just not gonna roll with a tight end, so give me Smith Shitter.
Wait, so he has to replace Kelsey, but he can replace it with anybody?
Yeah, so in hustle leagues, we don't have an actual tight end spot. It's just a flex, but it's tight end premium. So it does make the tight end worth a little bit more, but at the same time, I mean, we know that does not make a difference compared to the warp. So just give me Smith Shitter. Let me just play the numbers.
So it'll be Devin Singletary. No, is that Jaden Reed?
Yeah,
that's another interesting one of my my Packer guys. Yeah, I think looking at it from that standpoint, since I understand the format a little bit better, Smith-Schuster's fine. That New England offense, I think, should be a little bit better, especially with Bill O'Brien there. Yeah, I would agree with that. If you had to replace it with a tight end, that'd be a little bit different. And I would like Schultz over Komet. But Smith-Schuster kind of makes the most sense here. Jaden Reed, sneaky play too if you're feeling spicy.
Yeah, Wolfgang, it won't put the link through. I can't get the link through here, so just throw out the team in the chat. We'll put it together. Just give us the most important people. Don't put the Jerome Fords and Keontae Ingrams in there. Just give us your your main guys. Palmer or Palmer. No, I think I'd rather play Smith Shitter.
Who the hell is Palmer? Josh Palmer?
Yeah, it's got to be Josh Palmer.
No. We're not doing that.
Oh, there you go. Huss said he made you a chat mod. You could put the link in now. Yeah, throw the link in there now. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right, I got it here. Hammer, what do you say his team name was?
The Pats, 1997.
Pats, 1997. All right, hold up. All right, 12th spot. This is Dynasty, right? Okay. What is how many starters is this? Wolfgang, let me know how many starters it is on offense. 9, 10, 11, 12 plus. But all right, so we got, oh boy. Oh boy. We went Tua in the first round over Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't have did that.
Over Dak Prescott, over a Rich.
Yeah, I wouldn't have did that, but okay, let's move. And then you went Cheetah. So went with a stack of Tua and Cheetah in
I
round 1 and 2.
kind of don't mind that. Two is very risky. But I kind of see what he was trying to do.
Yep. Goes Kenny Walker next, and then Calvin Ridley, J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Love, Isaiah Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins, Okonkwo, Sky Moore, Zeke, Mostert, McBride, and a bunch of other scrubs down here. Henry Ruggs? No way, bro.
Man, he's just playing around.
Yeah, you need to drop him immediately. Hopefully that was like an auto pick or some shit. Ryan Thompson, drop this guy. Kyle Phillips, drop him. Pick up any running back, any backup running back. Skowronek, drop him. These guys are just roster cloggers, just wasting spots. Just pick up running backs that you can possibly sell during the season if they play a game or something like that. What are you thinking, Hammer? What are we looking at here?
Interesting to see what he did. I'm trying to look at the rest of the board to see like where he picked and what he could have potentially had in other areas. Like I said, the Tua Cheetah stack at the 1-2 turn is very, very interesting. And listen, it could pay huge dividends for you if Tua plays, a majority of the game. So I don't mind it, all things considered. Kenny Walker in the third makes me a little nervous. I probably would have went wide receiver there. You still had JSN on the board. You still had Amari Cooper on the board. You still had DJ Moore, Drake London, those sorts of guys. So I wouldn't have taken a running back in the third round here. I probably would have waited to the fifth maybe, but you did get Dobbins, which is nice. Jordan Love as your super flex quarterback, I'm fine with that. Pacheco, interesting. I have Pacheco in a redraft league. Hollywood Brown, Brandon Cooks. I do think Brandon Cooks is going to be really, really valuable. And to be honest with you, if Brandon Cooks is your third receiver, you're in pretty good shape. I don't think Hollywood is going to live up to the bill. So you have some upside here for sure. I think Calvin Ridley is going to be really good. I think Jordan Love, like I said, as your super flex is going to be really good. Dobbins, you love you some Dobbins. So overall, a solid team. The upside is there. I probably would have strategized it a little bit differently in terms of who I would have taken. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have some value. I mean, what I'd like to do is just take this and just build from it from here. Like trade Kenny Walker, trade Dobbins if you can. Let's just beef up our wide receivers, or let's get another quarterback, right? Can we tier up from Jordan Love? Can we go out and get a Deshaun Watson or somebody of that nature? Like he went so late, so it seems like people didn't really value him as high. So is it possible to make a trade and get yourself another quarterback? Because that's going to be important. I mean, it's 12 teams start 10. If you can get yourself 2 top 12-ish QBs, I mean, you're going to put yourself in good shape. I mean, from here, it doesn't look like there's any teams that really like crazy stand out. There's a few good teams. There's probably like 3 or 4, maybe 5 good teams here. The rest are like okay. But you've got Cheetah, you got Ridley, Marquise Brown, Cooks, D-Hop. D-Hop's a little older. I mean, I like Sky Moore. But let's try and tier up and beef up our wide receivers. So our wide receivers and flexes are or a super flex. You know, if you see if you can grab a QB, whatever it's going to cost. Let's see if we can do something, right?
And
Kenny
also
Walker
too,
and Jordan Love.
let's not forget this is a dynasty league, and Cheetah and Calvin Ridley are approaching that age 30 season. So it's not like these guys are, in their second, third year. So you're going to have to really kind of walk a fine line in terms of, am I going to win now, or am I going to have to rebuild this thing in a year plus?
Yeah, and it's okay to not win the first season. Like even Cheetah, like I know you have the stack, but if you wanted to just trade Cheetah right now, just at his value, and you can get one of these young guys plus, or even a QB. I mean, I do that as well. So you've got a couple different options. You got a couple different routes you can take. So it just depends on what you want to do. Or do you want to play it out like this and say, fuck it, let me see how this season rolls and then look
I'll
towards
be
the next season. But I'll be honest, you're not winning the ship right now. I don't think.
I mean, listen, crazy things happen, and he's got guys that can do damage.
They can, but
I'm actually okay with Tua and Jordan Love for right now. Now, if you can go out and get that guy, try it. But I would look at a top tier wide receiver first, a younger guy. Like you said, if you move Kenny Walker and Jordan Love, can you get JSN plus? Can you get, something like that? Because that's going to set you up, right? Then you'll have those foundational pieces. And even if you dip back into the draft next year, if you're not that great of a team, you can go get yourself a pick.
yeah. I mean, as much as Jordan Love has an opportunity, it's just I just don't feel safe, as the QB2. So, like for me, I want to shore that up, and it seems like people let the QBs go, so it doesn't seem like everybody values them as high. So if you can take advantage and grab another top QB right now, while people aren't realizing how much they're really worth or how important they are, then I would definitely try and do that. So you had a good draft. You have some value on your team, which is important. Now it's about moving that value around, moving those pieces around to shape the team kind of exactly how you want it. So, you have a few different options. Just decide which route you want to go. Yeah, Henry Ruggs was picked down here. Let's start 10. Okay. But yeah, I mean today's video we were basically just going to talk about the dynasty mindset, basically going into week 1, starting the season, with your dynasty teams, just some kind of tips and tricks to what to do or what to look for, some different ideas. So we've got a few different ones for you. And I know Hammer, you said you had something that you want. Even yesterday when we spoke, you said it was a good idea. You had something you want. So I'll let you start. What is, one thing that we should be looking at, or what mindset should we be having, going into this week 1 season for Dynasty?
The main thing for me is deciding, especially at the beginning, right? You need to know if I'm going to go for it or if I'm trying to rebuild, right? Obviously, you do that in the off season as well, but you want to scour the landscape of the rest of the teams and kind of get an idea, because there's going to be players available. There's always going to be picks available, all of that stuff. So whichever mindset you have, kind of focus on that. Now, crazy things can happen during the season, but for me, it's always try to win every single game, right? And then if I don't, I kind of adjust in season. Now, our home league that we are going into our 3rd year, I've pretty much been a contender. Last year, I almost fell off, right? Because I had Cooper Kupp hurt, I had Jamar Chase hurt, and I was really teetering on it, whether I was going to go for a push or just trade off like a Josh Jacobs, trade off a Cooper Kupp, something like that. So always be ready to make adjustments. I guess that's another kind of tie-in to deciding what kind of team you want to have going into the season. Always be ready to make adjustments, right? Always be ready to listen to trade offers. Don't shut any trade offer down, because somebody might blow your socks away with something that is like, hell yeah, I'm going to take that. So Always be ready to make adjustments. And I guess that's one of my leading things going into a dynasty season.
Yeah, I'm going to get into a few here in a second, but I actually wanted to give Wolfgang a little bit more. I'm going to pull up the warp calculator, and we are going to take a little bit deeper look. I'm going to take a deeper look into the. Okay, so this QB scoring is actually not as good or as great as I thought that it was. So,
pretty
when
big
we're
drop
looking
off
at
after 3.
Yeah, when we're
After
looking at the
4.
warp chart, it kind of drops off after the first, right? After the top
4.
4 quarterbacks, and it's pretty even going down. Even running backs are a little bit more valuable up until you hit, the top 12 or so. Then it kind of evens off almost after that. So I guess what we see here is like, where do you see Jordan Love finishing? Is he outside the top 18, or is he, a 15 to 18-ish quarterback, right? That means he's going to be in this range if you think, best case scenario. Would you kind of agree with that? Best case scenario, I guess he would be in this range.
Yeah, I would say best case scenario 15.
Yeah. So, I mean, realistically, he's almost kind of under even the position players here. So, if you can tier up to a guy that's, top 12-ish, it's just giving you so much more of an advantage compared to your other league mates. If you have 2 of these guys in the top 6, that'll be crazy. But when you're talking about in the top 12, you're going to have a lot more advantage over some of the other guys that are playing QBs, ranked down here, right?
Possibly. I mean, I think that's a tricky one when we're talking about Jordan Love because he is so unknown. If you remember, Aaron Rodgers' first year, he wasn't what we know him to be. He was like a 28 touchdown, 12 interception guy, if I remember the stats correctly. He was kind of like a middle of the road quarterback, and then he pretty much took off. So the fact that we're talking about dynasty and we're talking about a guy that's extremely unproven, I really do think he has a high ceiling. I don't think he could reach that ceiling this year because it is his first year. They have a relatively young team, but I'm okay with it, honestly. Now, if you're willing to part with assets to solidify that position a little bit more, I wouldn't have a problem with obviously seeking it out, go and seeing what's out there. If you packaged him and Kenny Walker and tried to get Deshaun Watson, how could I really say don't do that? That would kind of be negligent to, to give somebody that advice and say, no, keep Jordan Love and forget about Deshaun Watson. But I do think with a guy like Jordan Love, I do think he has a higher upside going into next year and the year after.
Do you think he'll ever hit top 12?
I think it's possible because he has some wheels.
Oh,
so
you fucking Packer fan. God damn it.
I do think he has some potential. Like Aaron Rodgers' first year, did we ever look at Aaron Rodgers and say, yeah, he has top 12 potential?
He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. He's not. Doesn't have top 12 potential. With the quarterbacks that are in the league right now, he does not have top 12 potential.
Why not?
Because there's just a bunch of other quarterbacks ahead of him that he's not ever going to surpass.
How do you know?
What do you mean?
Let's
go through them. Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Hurts, Herbert, Lawrence, Fields, Lamar Jackson, Tua. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 right there.
He can be better than Tua.
Sean Watson is 10. Dak Prescott's 11. Daniel Jones, 12. That's 12 guys right there, not counting Anthony Richardson, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Jared Goff.
He can be that.
Okay.
He can be that.
That's fair.
The problem is that we don't know, and it sounds stupid, but it's so true. We don't know until we know, right? When Patrick Mahomes was starting his first year, did we know he was going to be Patrick Mahomes? No, we didn't know, right?
I mean,
Remember,
he's a way better prospect than Jordan Love.
I understand that.
So it's different. It's not the same though.
It's not the same situation, but it's the same principle. It's the same train of thought. where it's like I'm looking at a guy, I see how this organization has built the roster. Jordan Love can be better than Tua. Jordan Love can be better than Daniel Jones. So if you got Daniel Jones at 12, Jordan Love could be better than that.
I'm not. Well, I wasn't saying that. I wasn't
saying.
saying it in a particular order. I was literally looking at the draft that Wolfgang just did and just going by the QBs that went off the board.
That were taken.
I wasn't saying them in any particular order. I was just throwing the names out there.
Okay.
No, Nikki, I don't. Dak is not my number 11 QB. I was just kind of throwing out exactly what I was reading off of the board and how those kind of QBs came off. But
listen, I'm not saying Jordan Love's going to be that this year, but I'm saying you're telling me in 2 or 3 years he can't be a top 12 quarterback.
I mean, I guess anything is possible, but I don't see that happening. Not with the QBs that are in the league now. Like, I don't see how we could get ahead of any of those guys.
Listen, he's not going to get into the top 8, but anything after 8, it's up for debate to me.
I guess. Yeah, that's true. Because Mahomes did his fucking thing.
Yeah, no, after we've seen him though, and we've seen a little bit of Jordan Love, but he wasn't the starter, so we didn't know until we knew. I guess that's basically my point.
After looking at the warp chart, I mean, you're okay with the running backs that you have. Just looking at the warp chart there. So, but still, I would like to upgrade if I can. Unless you really believe in Jordan Love like Hammer does, then
see,
go ahead.
now you're trying to undermine me.
No, all I'm saying is if you believe like Hammer does, then go for it. But I'm not gonna play that game because for me it's like, why should I even take that risk in Dynasty? Why, if I have him, why shouldn't I just cheer up, make it nice and easy instead of trying to make the bet that he becomes something? Because if he doesn't become something, he fucks me. But if I'm able to tear up, I still get the better QB anyway.
Okay, here's the reason, and this was kind of the reason I was going towards, because right, say you want to go after another wide receiver, right? Because Cheetah's 29, Ridley's 28. You want to kind of, get younger there. Receiver. Well, that's different, but I'm just saying.
You can't trade Jordan Love and get a wide receiver, then you got no QB.
I agree. I'm just saying that you're going to trade Kenny Walker as well.
And I'm okay with trading Kenny Walker. I'm okay with trading anybody, to be honest, other than Tua. At this moment, if you can cheer up from Tua, maybe, but we'll trade any of those guys to just solidify a second QB, for the future. That's in that top 12, just to give me that advantage over the other teams. I don't think you need to break up, Tyreek Hill or Ridley maybe to even do that. Like, that's the other thing.
Just listen to Steve. He knows it. I don't know shit.
I just disagree with the Jordan Love. That's all. It's possible if maybe it becomes a top 12 QB, and I'm eating my words, but
okay. But I'm not saying specifically this. I don't think he's going to be top 12 this season. But I think next season,
I know what you mean. I know. I feel you.
He has potential.
I feel you,
especially to grow with that young core of guys.
Nikki, so he's a Packers fan. I'm a Vikings fan. So we go at it all the time.
Yeah, but the problem is that Steve is not. He hates the Packers no matter what. I don't
hate the Packers no matter what, but I'm not going to play around with my dynasty roster with Jordan Love. I'm just not doing it. Whoever out there wants to, you're all welcome to it. I just don't want to, and that's fine. If y'all want to, I'm just not for it. That's all. Fair. Patty said, "What about the Kelsey Mahomes stack his dad drafted?"
It's fine. Don't panic.
Wolfgang said Jordan Love will be better than Kirk Cousins. Holy shit! You do understand Kirk Cousins has been a top 10 QB in fantasy before.
I mean, are we fantasy wise? It's tough, right? Because we need to see the evolution. Kirk Cousins wasn't exactly highly touted. We didn't know Kirk Cousins was going to be Kirk Cousins until he kind of did his thing in Washington and then came to Minnesota and really had the offense. You know, it was a good situation, right? Pass heavy offense, had Adam Thielen, had Stephon Diggs, then transitioned to Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. Now it's transitioning from Justin Jefferson to Addison. They added TJ Hawkinson. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say he's going to be a better fantasy quarterback than Kirk Cousins. I think he could probably play better in prime time than Kirk Cousins, but he didn't exactly set the bar very high. So I'm just going
to fucking throw that in there, you fucking bastard.
I'm just going to leave that there.
Wolfgang said it's only because of JJ. I would disagree because he's been throwing for, you know, almost 5,000 yards, you know, 4,500 yards continuously with Washington before he even made it to Minnesota. So
I'm going to go look at. I know Kirk Cousins has been really good.
What did Kirk do? He's thrown for over 4,000 plenty of times.
I'm pulling him up right now. And
yeah, I got it in here too. Where is he?
So going back to
where is he at? Kirk Co.
Basically starting in 2015.
Let's see.
Yeah, he was top 10.
Damn, almost 5,000 in 2016.
But Kirk hasn't. I mean, he was for the last couple of years. He wasn't great. 11, 19, 13. So he was number 6 last year.
So and he was top 10 3 times with Washington, even before he got to Minnesota. So he can sling it.
Good. He hasn't been great. He's been good. And he could definitely sling it.
You would say consistently top 12. Other than 2 seasons, he's been a top 12 quarterback almost every season.
Which I think Jordan Love could be right there in that 11, 12, 13 range.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Kirko Chains is the man. What up, Catch? What's good? He's starting Brock Purdy week 1 on the Brock train.
I ain't mad at it.
Brock the Glock, baby.
I am not mad at that.
Glock. Watch Brock go out there and throw like 35 tutties.
I mean,
yeah. Oh, come on, Nikki. You got to come at my guys like that. I know. But the main thing is, like, there's nobody out there we can get that's better than Kirk Cousins. So we have to just deal with whatever the fuck it comes with. It is what it is, man.
The good and the bad of Kirk Cousins. He giveth and he taketh away.
It is what it is. Oh, I have CMC. Wolfgang says his team sucked, so they had to throw the ball. I mean, 1, 2, 3. He's only threw over 600 times, 3 times in his career. But, I mean, I guess that's fair. But it is what it is. Kurt Coe is the man. I have CMC, ETN, Sun God, and Ridley. You like that?
Yeah, why wouldn't I?
They said, do I go? Oh, okay. You're in the draft right now. My bad. Do I go for a QB? I don't know what QBs are out there. Depends who's left. So, depends who's left. Don't forget who needs a way to watch 100% of NFL games. All pay-per-views and every cable channel for $30 a month. Send us a message. Football starts in 2 days. Bro, I saw that fucking Spectrum and Disney took away like ESPN. Like, what the fuck is that? So where are we watching the games? Sunday night? What Sunday night and Monday night? What channel the games is on?
I have no idea. I was trying to watch First Take this morning and I couldn't do it. And it was just blacked out. I'm like, when did this happen?
Fucking bull. I got to call them too. They better give me some fucking money back. Taking my shit. Fields is on the board right now. How many teams is this? Is this like your 8 team or which one is this, Caddy?
Yeah, Caddy do be in them
I mean, if
weird like
Fields is still
weeks.
there in round 5, I mean, I think that's a pretty good value, I guess. But Jackson, what up, Jackson? My guy. Hammer looking cute over there.
That's what I
Yeah,
do,
Sun God
Jackson.
is Amon-Ra's nickname. Apparently, his name means Sun God or something of that nature. So it's a
But I'll
10
never
team. Yeah, I'll
but I'll
take
never
Fields.
call him that. So
Give me the upside. Yeah, Hammer hates using Sun God. So let's get back into it. So you said, of course, the one of the first things we want to do is determine what our team is. What position is your team in? Right? Are you rebuilding? Are you kind of middle of the pack? Are you in contention? Right? And
yep.
then from there, you've kind of got to see, what areas are you strong at? What positions are you strong at? And have a plan, right? If you're contending, you need to know what you have on the bench. Like if you have somebody that gets injured in your starting lineup, like are you still going to be able to contend, right? So how strong are you? Do you have a plan if something goes wrong? So a very important thing to do is to look at all the other teams in the league, right? Look at all of their strengths and their weaknesses. Where is this team going to be at? Is this team going to be good? Is this team not going to be good? Who might what team is not that good and might have to be selling off some older assets at that point? Who can you possibly grab, right? So these are all important things to look at. And another big thing for me is I started like writing down trades that people make and kind of writing down little things about different GMs. Okay, this guy likes to trade draft picks. This guy likes to trade older players. This guy likes all the younger players, right? So now you know about these GMs, and you're not going to remember always right off the bat. So just write it down in a little notebook or something, right? So this way now you know when you need to go make a move, who is a good trade partner for you or who's not a good trade partner for you. So those are important things to look at. Especially if you are contending. But that goes the same for rebuilding, right? Looking at potential teams for trade partners, right? Who is going to need some win now talent that you might have on your team, right? And who might be willing to trade some young talent to get the points that they need for right now, right? Because people get frustrated, right? When you have the Quentin Johnsons or Jordan Addisons and they don't produce right away, right? People start getting panicking, what the fuck? I need points right now. Then they might want to start buying some older players. So that's your advantage, of course, even more as a rebuilding team to try and take advantage and get some of these young guys. So that was another point especially for rebuilding, looking at all that. What else do you have, Hammer, other than obviously determining that? Another easy one, of course, is right. Obviously, we're at this point of the season, right? Fill your taxi squad, fill your roster, right? Get rid of the roster cloggers you don't need. You don't need to carry fucking 3-4 tight ends. Okay, you don't need to carry a bunch of quarterbacks in a 1 QB league. You just don't need to do it. So get rid of the dead weight, pick up as many backup running backs as you can. Any running back on a roster, just throw them on your bench, right? And then fill out your taxi, obviously, for the year, whether that's running backs or some wide receivers maybe that you like, that you're not going to put in, for this season.
Agreed.
What else we thinking, Hammer? What else should we be doing going into this week 1 for your Dynasty squad?
Early on in the season, and we brought this up on a number of different occasions, those injury prone or older players who get off to a hot start, take advantage of that value within the first week or two that they have a really hot start, right? So we're talking about somebody like Rashad Bateman was one that came to mind, right? Where he's not necessarily a superstar, but he gets off to a hot start. People maybe not sure about him. I know the guy for you is a Kadarius Toney is a good example of that.
Keenan Allen is a big one for me. I want to get rid of
Keenan. So some of these old, right? If DeAndre Hopkins goes out and has, 15 catches for 180 yards in the first 2 weeks and a touchdown, people are going to be like, oh, D Hop's back. Some of those bigger name, older veteran players, if they do pop off, between week 1, week 2, somewhere in that range, try to sell them at their highest point, because their value probably is never going to get any higher because of age, because of potential injury history. James Conner was another guy we brought up to take advantage of value, especially if he gets a ton of volume early on in the season. So that's another big one for me.
Yeah, I agree. Other than that, it's being patient. Like, even though you know that you need to make moves, especially if you're rebuilding, right? No reason to panic or make trades right now when you don't need to, right? Pick and choose the right moments, because every week of the season, values are going to start changing, right? Once people start putting points on the board, everything shifts from dynasty and young guys to, win now and who's putting points on the board, right? So, just be patient and choose, when you want to trade guys, right? I'm seeing Trey Lance get thrown around right now, for different little things. And for me, it's like, you already have him for, whatever you spent on him, whether you spent a lot or you didn't spend a lot. You might as well just hold it out. Don't trade him right now. Wait till that time comes that he is going to be a starter somewhere, if that time ever comes, rather than just giving him up for nothing. But at the same time, if he's going to net you a top guy, or maybe a mid or early first round pick, then obviously those are different stories. But that's just not going to happen right now. So you might as well hold on to a guy like that, right? And then you look at it the other way, right? Guys like Christian Watson, or George Pickens, right? If they don't do well and that value starts to drop a little bit, right? Now these open up little kind of buying windows for you, right? So, you can take advantage of it that way, as well. So not only, waiting for guys to go off and trade, and then waiting for guys to underperform a little bit and then going after some of those guys. Like we talked about Elijah Moore. Horrible season last year with the Jets. They drafted Garrett Wilson. And then everybody just kind of forgot about Elijah Moore, who was a top 20 dynasty wide receiver at one point. And he's wide receiver 28, I think, in points per game back to his rookie season. And everybody just kind of forgot about him. So, take advantage of some of these pockets and some of these windows. Just be very, be patient in dynasty, because once the season starts, people start putting up points. Everybody starts wanting to trade now all of a sudden, and starts going after the points. So,
for sure.
Jackson said thoughts on Eckler.
Eckler's tough because clearly he's unhappy, right? He asked the Chargers for a trade. They didn't trade him. He ended up getting his behind in camp, and I think he'll be productive. That should be a pretty good offense this year. They have Kellen Moore over from Dallas as the offensive coordinator, and Kellen Moore basically ran a top 5 offense in Dallas when he was there. So there's no reason to think with Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston, Austin Eckler, and company that there can't be a similar style of offense that he had in Dallas when they were pretty prolific. So I think Eckler will be the beneficiary. He's a terrific pass catcher. He's kind of like the light version of Christian McCaffrey. Probably a little better than that, but I think Eckler will be really good. I think he probably finish around RB8 for me. RB9, somewhere in that range. I just wonder, though, if he does, get nicked up or something or anything like that, if he's going to protect himself, right? Because he is trying to play for a contract. He is trying to play, to go somewhere else. So I do think if he plays a full season, he's a top 10 running back. Yeah,
I mean, I think for me, the only thing I'm worried about for Eckler would be to reproduce again another 20 touchdown season, right? That's difficult to do. If he puts up another 20 tutties this year, but don't forget last year Mike Williams was hurt and Keenan Allen was hurt, and he had I think 120 targets. I don't think that's happening this year. I don't think he's getting 120 targets again. Not if everybody's healthy, right? If things happen and guys get hurt, then maybe. But So those will be the two tough things: is getting as many targets and catches as he did last year, getting as many touchdowns again as he
So,
did, the last 2 years. But
so
at the same time, like you said, new offense, Kellen Moore. I still like Eckler. I'm not particularly worried. For me, I could say more like top 5-ish could be. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out there.
So in 2020, he only played 10 games, so I'm going to exclude that. But 3 out of the last 4 years, he's been top 4. He is 28, but I think he's a little bit of a younger 28 because he's only getting 200 rushing attempts, right? So
A different
it's
kind of
different,
28.
right? He's like Alvin Kamara, basically,
Yeah.
where he's not rushing it 300, 350 times. So, but to give it some context, the last 2 years, he has basically had 900 rushing yards, double-digit touchdowns, 70 receptions in 2021, 107 receptions last year, 18 touchdowns last year, 20 the year before that. So he's got basically almost 40 touchdowns in 2 years. And I think that's sustainable. I think he could be somewhere around 14, 15. Like I truly do with that offense.
Do you think that because the offense is going to change, that might affect Austin Eckler?
No, because he's a different the style of play that he has, where he is a fantastic receiver, I think that opens up so many more options and it keeps him relevant, right? He's not a Nick Chubb, he's not a Derrick Henry, he's not a Josh Jacobs, he's not one of those between the tackle running backs. Like, he's good in space, he doesn't take a ton of hits. And what's weird too is, for him being that type of player, they give it to him a lot at the goal line. Like, he still gets the goal line work, which is evidenced by 38 touchdowns in the last 2 years. 25 of those 38 are rushing touchdowns. So he's getting the goal line work when they get down there in a really good offense. So I'm not worried about Austin Eckler this year. I do think it takes a tick down because you did add a Quentin Johnston, and you add some more diversity. Maybe Justin Herbert, plunges it in a couple of times. He might siphon off some of that, but I still think he's good for 13, 14 touchdowns potentially.
Should I play D-Hop or Sky Moore?
I hate this question.
Because you hate Sky Moore and you're actually thinking about it.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. I'm very interested to see how DeAndre Hopkins is used. Early on, DeAndre Hopkins could be an okay flex play depending on your options. But I have to be honest here. It has to be Sky Moore because there's more volume there, and especially if Travis Kelce is limited or out. So it's got to be Sky Moore kind of by default.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to just not say D-Hop because
I agree.
Obviously D-Hop is, they got Burks, but D-Hop is obviously the guy. So I don't. It's tough, and then Sky Moore's my guy, but yeah, that's a close one. Depends how spicy you want to get. It's a toss up either way, but Hammer's right. More volume for Sky Moore, possibly a high scoring game, and with Kelce out, Sky Moore I think is a really good play this week if you want to get that spicy. Tell me how you feel, Wolfgang. How high are you on D-Hop? I'm not as high as others, but.
No, I'm not high either. I think this is probably a flex play at best. I don't think DeAndre Hopkins or Sky Moore should be in your starting receivers if you can help it. Like, if you have Jerry Jeudy injured or something like that, and you have to plug in one of those guys as your wide receiver 3, that's fine. But yeah, I'm just gonna go Sky Moore here just because, like I said, Kelce probably will be either out or limited some way, and you've got to imagine Patrick Mahomes is probably going to throw it 35 times in that game, 40 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Kelce plays, then that might be a different story. Maybe you want to go with D-Hop in that case, but even still, I like Sky Moore. But I think you might have to play D-Hop if Kelsey plays. Lance is never going to be a starter. Yeah, possible. But we'll
That's
see. He's
highly
a first-round
possible.
pick. Somebody's going to probably give him at least a game. He just won't have the leash that he would have had. Lance about to replace Dak's ass. Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt it.
I don't see that happening.
I doubt it. But Dynasty League just traded Kelsey, Michael Thomas, and Dalvin Cook for JT, George Kittle, and Amari Cooper. Win or loss?
I feel like it's both. What were you trying to accomplish exactly? You know, I feel like that always has to be a question. What were you trying to accomplish? You know, you trade Travis Kelce. Now he is hurt. I mean, Michael Thomas, I don't think Michael Thomas is ever going to be what people seem to think he still can be. And Dalvin Cook is essentially an RB3 when it's all said and done, I believe. I think he'll be an RB2 this year. But what were you trying to get done, right? You'd rather have Amari over Michael Thomas. I'd rather have Kelsey over Kittle.
JT over Dalvin.
And I'd rather have JT over Dalvin. So I think you're winning 2 out of the 3, but Kelsey is such an advantage over everybody else at that position. It kind of evens it out.
Yeah, I think, yeah. I think my thing with Kelsey is that if I am going to trade him, I want like some kind of top young asset. And JT's good and he is a nice asset, but I'd rather have it at like a wide receiver position where it's more kind of stable than the than the running back position. So this isn't a bad trade getting JT, Kittle, and Amari Cooper. You're kind of tearing down
Balancing
from
your
Kelsey. You're
team,
getting a Kittle and Amari and a JT. I'm guessing that you're in contention because you're getting Kittle and Cooper back, which means that you're probably in contention. JT obviously doesn't. Who knows what's going to happen for this season? We have some question marks about this season, but I can understand it. So it's not a bad trade. I would say overall it's a W because you got Amari Cooper and JT out of Travis Kelce, and George Kittle. Because Dalvin Cook really means nothing after this year. Almost. So really it's like Kelce for JT, Kittle, and Cooper.
My biggest issue is the fact that you got Kittle back, right? If it was, a little bit of a younger tight end, maybe somebody a little more stable. Now Kittle is really good when he plays, but he's already in question for week 1. So you lost your advantage with Kelsey at that position, and you're going to lose a little bit of your advantage if Kittle doesn't play. And Kittle does get hurt, man. He's very frustrating. I talked about this on the last episode. I have Kittle. I traded for Kittle in Dynasty after our first year, and last year was the second year I had him, and he was very, very frustrating to have. But he did come through for me in the playoffs. So just know that in advance that you're going to need another tight end in your rotation because Kittle will get hurt and he will miss some games. So you have to make sure you have somebody to kind of plug in. And the fucked up part about that is that George Kittle plays in San Francisco. And a lot of these games are those 425, 430 games where you're not sure if George Kittle is going to be playing or not. And you kind of got to make up your mind before those 1 o'clock games. So that's also something, a little tidbit that I went through last year if you have George Kittle on your roster.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Kittle. He's okay to have, but I probably would have just rather almost like punt the tight end and grab another asset out of that trade instead. But it's not a bad trade. I think overall it's a W when you look at the big picture. But losing Kelsey, of course, is big. But if you had holes in other areas that you need to fill, I mean, it's a W, but it's kind of like it's a dub, but.
Right, I felt the same way. I was like,
rough. Like it's rough at the same time because obviously you're losing Kelsey, but not bad. Dolgatar. This is a good one here. Jackson says Sky Moore, Sutton, or James Cook this week.
Ooh,
James Cook's got the Jets, so I'm a little bit more off of James Cookish. Judy is probably most likely not playing, so Sutton is a good play. And we've talked about Kelsey already and Sky Moore. So what's it going to be?
I have to see what that Denver offense looks like before I'm ready to go in on Sutton if I have other options. So I'm going to stick with Sky Moore here because I know that he's healthy. He's going to be out there. I know what that Kansas City offense is. I know Sky Moore's quarterback is really good. I don't know if Cortland Sutton's quarterback is any good anymore. So I'm going to go Sky Moore here just because Russell Wilson could shit the bed again and turn back into Russell Wilson of last year, and then you're really fucked. So I'll go Sky Moore here just because I feel more comfortable with the quarterback and the offense that he's playing in.
So we're rolling.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I make that smaller. God damn it. Hold on. Uh-oh.
Get that off.
We're big on Sky Moore right now. We've been talking him up, so he belongs somewhere on the screen.
I'm not big on Sky Moore. Just the other options are questionable. It's by default.
I can't figure out how to make it smaller. Hold on. I got it. Here we go.
Would you play Christian Watson or Sky Moore this week? Week 1.
I can't move it. God damn. Would I play who? Christian Watson or Sky Moore?
Week 1.
Ooh. Kelsey's not playing, bro. I'm all in on Sky Moore right now.
That's a fair argument.
So if Kelsey's not playing, maybe Watson. Because he got the big play upside. You know, Sky is going to be more of a PPR guy.
Okay. I just want to see how deep your hate runs for the Packers.
Well, I don't know. It don't run that deep. I know I'm a little more down on Watson than most in the Dynasty community, but I still like him. I just would like to cheer up. I just won't feel safe getting somebody else. I still like him though, but who's the better roster, Tank Bigsby or Marvin Mims? Who's the better roster? Who's
better to roster
player? Maybe who's better to roster? Okay, Tank Bigsby or Marvin Mims full PPR redraft. That's a tough one, actually.
That is a tough one.
Bigsby be getting some work, but Judy is out. So who are you pulling with? Are we talking about for week 1 or I guess altogether? I mean. What's crazy is both of these guys could be like league-winning dudes if injuries occur.
This is probably one of the tougher questions we've gotten because you could see the path to relevancy for both guys. And I think Judy could be out for an extended period of time, right? He could come back. He could play week 2, fuck up his hamstring completely and be out the whole season. And then Marvin Mims has a path. But I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby here just because we're still unsure about that Denver offense. I know Sean Payton's there, but we're still unsure. We don't know if Russell Wilson has worked out the kinks in his game, and Marvin Mims has a lot more dependency to be good than Tank Bigsby does, right? Tank Bigsby's on a good offense with other good skill players, with a really good quarterback, with a really good coach, and I think he's worth the roster, especially in redraft, over Mims right now. So I'll go with Tank Bigsby here.
Well, I think I would say, why can't you roster both? Who else is on your bench that we can get rid of?
That's a good question.
That would be another good question. Who else can we get rid of to roster both of these guys? Because if you're talking about right now, I want Marvin Mims. Jerry Jeudy, we don't know what's happening with him. We don't, So right now, I feel like I want Marvin Mims. But if Tank is on the waiver wire right now, just give me Marvin Mims. Because he's probably going to do more for me at the moment. Or be worth something, probably. If he does do something, maybe you just move him. And then you go pick up Bigsby. FFT AJ, what up? Kirk, Gibson, Sanders, D-Hop, start 2.
Is that Christian Kirk?
Mm-hmm.
A. Gibby, Miles Sanders, D Hop. This is a good one.
You've got Kirk against the Colts. You've got Gibby against the Lonely Cardinals. You've got Miles Sanders against the Falcons, and you've got D Hop against the Saints.
I think D Hop against the Saints is a tough one because they got Marshawn Lattimore, and that'll probably be rolling with D Hop. So I'm going to take D Hop out of it. I think I'm going to go Christian Kirk and Gibby here. You can make the argument for Miles Sanders, but I think I'm going to go Christian Kirk and Gibby because Gibby has the plus matchup.
Yeah. I'm with you there. Those are the exact two guys that I was thinking as well. D Hop's a tough one. But I'm just not a D Hop guy right now. I'm just not a D Hop guy. And Sanders, you can make the argument if he's a 3-down guy, but he also is coming off the injury too. But give me just the better play against a worse team. So give me Gibby and Kirk. But you can go Kirk and either of those guys, really.
Yeah, I think Miles Sanders is being a little underrated as well. He is the clear guy there. They gave him the money. So, I think Miles Sanders will be really productive, but Gibby gives you some really good upside. You got to imagine that Washington team should be able to find some good offense in that game. So
I feel like that Falcons-Panthers game is going to be like a slow game as well, where they're running the ball, which could be good or bad for Miles Sanders. So it's just turmoil in Dallas. There's always turmoil in Dallas.
right.
Always. When is there not? There's always 10 here, 7 likes. Smash that like button. Yeah, guys. Appreciate you, Nikki. Smash that like, guys. Smash that subscribe if you're new. Appreciate all y'all coming out. Hollywood?
No, we're not doing that. No way.
No, I'm not playing Hollywood with no QB there. Nikki's not on the Sky Moore train. She's with Hammer on this one. I don't Dirt or Juwan Johnson.
So really quick, I'm not crazy about Sky Moore, but I think he is, especially now with the Kelsey stuff. They're playing the Lions. And whatever the options are, right? I'm going to be objective. I'm not crazy about Sky Moore. I'd start Christian Watson over Sky Moore. Kind of like a comparable players there. But if there's better, if Sky Moore is the better option, I'm taking Sky Moore. And please get him off my screen. I just noticed he was right above me. Get him off my screen.
I was waiting for you to say something. I was just gonna let it rock.
Dallas Goedert or Juwan Johnson. Yeah, Dallas Goedert.
Yeah, I'm going with Goddard too. I'm not gonna play Johnson over him, but I do like Johnson as a play if you like have Kelsey and you need to fill in, or if you just punted tight end and need to pick one up. I like Johnson. Adam said my bench consists of Hall, Algier, Charbs, Nico Collins, Anthony Richardson, and Bigsby.
Solid.
Who was the did he say who his actual QB was? I don't think he did.
I don't remember.
We have Kelsey, who would be top pickups for replacement if he's out. I recorded a video today, but I didn't put it out. Tyler Higbee. Your boy, Luke Musgrave.
Bing bong.
Cole Kmet's probably rostered. I'm just looking at some of the ones I wrote down here. Gerald Everett. I think we talked about him yesterday.
We certainly did.
Right. If Dolchich is available, possibly Dolchich with Judy out. I don't know if he's going to be available, though. Juwan Johnson, who literally we just spoke about. But, yeah, I like Juwan Johnson with Carr. Apparently, they've got a little connection going. Irv Smith, Bengals.
Okay.
And all these guys are the same. So there's not like one, you can make a case for any of these guys. They're all going to pretty much the same. It's just a matter of who actually does something. Dalton Schultz, I think you mentioned him earlier.
Yep, I do like Dalton Schultz. I'll be honest with you. I think we're forgetting about him. Like we completely forgot about Dalton Schultz. Like he wasn't a top 3 tight end a couple of years ago, fantasy wise. So, and I think he's going to provide a really good floor for CJ Stroud. Like I really do. So, yeah, Dalton Schultz, really good pickup.
Let's see. The backup to Kelsey, Noah Gray.
Noah Gray's
nobody
okay.
else is out there. Noah Gray. I mean,
he's made plays before. Yeah.
Yep, he's made plays. He's on the field even with Kelsey sometimes. So, and then another one I wrote down was Sam Laporta, if he's out there. I don't know. He's had a lot of hype lately. So depending on your league, he may or may not be available. But yeah,
that's not a bad call on Sam Laporta there. I do like Sam Laporta. Being able to grow in that Lions offense. So I think he'll be a little more effective later in the year, just as he gets up to speed with the NFL. But yeah, I think Dalton Schultz is a really, really nice pickup. Underrated as well.
Did I miss anybody? Is there anybody else that comes to mind?
Not that I could think of that's like under the radar or maybe not rostered. Those are some really good ones.
Nikki said my team is a mess. I could really use some help. Philip Bama Doggles. Did you put the link in there? Shit. I don't know if Huss is out there. If he could add what do you do? Add as a moderator or something?
I believe she gave us her team yesterday, right? Was that the same one where she picked up, where she got JSN, where she got all the young guys, or is it a different team?
No, I don't think so. 10-man, 2-flex PPR, Lawrence Pollard Walker, Jefferson, St. Brown, Ingram, Debo Dobbins, McLaurin on the bench. Any trades?
Yes.
There's Huss. Nikki. Let Nikki throw her thing out there in the chat. All right, my bad. McLaurin on the bench. Any trades? What do you think about this 10-team 2-flex?
I like it. I think you can upgrade here. I think you could move Debo and McLaurin and get yourself another stud wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got Walker to dangle around. You got Dobbins to dangle around. So yeah, you've got some guys that you can use to upgrade there. I think Hammer is on the money there, like a Debo McLaurin or a McLaurin Dobbins, McLaurin Walker, Debo McLaurin, Debo Dobbins, anything of that nature. I'm not giving up Jefferson or St. Brown. I don't think I'm giving up Pollard either.
I like Ingram at the tight end with the little stack with Lawrence. That's
Ingram,
fine.
You're fine there. So those are the ones that I'd be willing to put up. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can figure this out. Managing moderator or standard moderator, Huss? Let me know. Marco said, my first time being commissioned for a league. Can I ask some questions? Of course, Marco. Throw out some questions.
Hell yeah, bro.
What you got, Marco? What can we help you with here? Do you think I should have a trade deadline in the league, and how many IR spots? So first off, is this a redraft league or a dynasty league? Please let us know.
Yep, that was my first question.
Please let us know that. He said standard. Hold on. Standard. All right, Nikki, I think you should be able to throw the link out there now. Let me know. But all right, my bad. Redraft.
Okay.
What you think, Hammer? Should you have a trade deadline in a redraft league? And how many IR spots?
I am a commissioner of a redraft league, and I've had this league for about 10 years now. So it's been solid, right? And we pretty much had the same guys in my league forever. Your league as well. We pretty much had the league from the same time. So yes, we do have a trade deadline. I believe it's sometime around Thanksgiving, maybe a little bit before. So we do have a trade deadline. And we do that because there are teams that may be out of it that if you don't have a trade deadline, they kind of pillage off their players. And for redraft, that kind of skews the league a little bit. Obviously, you have to keep an eye out on certain trades regardless. But we do have that trade deadline because there are teams who know they're not going to make the playoffs. There might be a little colluding going on. So yes, I would recommend having a trade deadline in redraft. You could think about sometime, like I said, week 8, 9, 10-ish. I would say week 10 maybe, somewhere around there, mid-November. And then the IR spots, it really varies depending on your roster size, depending on, a bunch of different things. Usually it's between 1 and 2 IR spots. I think we have 2, I believe, in our leagues.
Yeah,
So,
I think we use 2. Yeah, Huss says it right here. Yes, the trade deadline mid-November. Yep, perfect. Offense only 2 to 3 IR spots. Yeah.
Yeah, so
And that's
exactly.
pretty much the standard for the trade deadline anyway.
And the IR spots are really important because, there are some big time guys that go on IR and you kind of need those roster spots, right? They're a lot more limited in redraft. I think, anywhere from 6 to 8 bench spots in redraft leagues is pretty standard. So those bench spots are very, very valuable, and if you have a guy, say you have a Dak Prescott, right, on IR clogging up one of your roster spots, that can hamper your team. So yeah, we usually go 2 IR spots, maybe 3, depending on roster size.
Nikki, see if you can put the team in the chat now. I made you a moderator, so you should be able to put the link in. Otherwise, just kind of type in the chat whatever your team is. That's fine.
So we need a creative team.
So yeah, Marco, make the trade deadline and do the IR spots. Typically 2 is okay. I mean, depending how deep or how many starters it is, maybe you want to put 3. But yeah, man. I think Hammer was right on with the 6 to 8-ish bench spots, so you're fine there. And typically, I like 12-team leagues. I hate 10-team leagues. I play in one Dynasty 10-team just to have one, but I won't play in a redraft 10-team. I refuse. It got to be at least 12 teams. It's just more fun. I mean, everybody has a good squad in a 10-team. And so, yeah, maybe 12-team.
I feel like in a 12-team, there's more – it's more skill, right? Because you have to find deeper, sleepers. You have to kind of navigate the rosters a little bit better. It's a little bit deeper. You kind of got to know your shit a little bit more. If you're in it, I don't know how people do 18 leagues. That would drive me nuts.
Can you rate my redraft full PPR? Justin Herbert, Barkley, Montgomery, Garrett Wilson, Cooper, London, Andrews, Dotson, bench, Herbert, Charbonnet, Harris, Algier, OBJ, Mims.
Go back. Wilson, Cooper, London. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Andrews, Dotson,
Herbert,
Barkley, Monty.
That's about an 8 out of 10.
I was just gonna say it's a good 8.5 there. I like that. I like that a lot. Especially that you got Andrews to go along with. You still got Herbert, you still got Saquon, and then you still got Garrett Wilson, Cooper, London, and Dotson as well. So that's a good squad. It's a good squad. Good squad. Appreciate everybody out here. Make sure you guys smash that like, smash that subscribe if you're new. Throw out any questions you got in the chat. We will get to it. Yeah, Nikki, throw that out there so we can find. I don't see it yet. I'll pull it up. See what we can do. 6 to 8 bench spots. Leagues with only 5. Leagues with 5 bench spots is horrible. You don't want that.
No.
You don't want that. Hold on, I missed somebody's up here. My bad, Francisco. What's up, Francisco? Debo and McLaurin for Adams.
I like that.
Debo and Ridley. McLaurin for Adams.
And I think the next question was Ridley to stack with T-Law.
I don't love Adams. Like, I'll be honest. Like, I don't love Adams. Like,
do you have Ridley over Adams this year? I don't.
I don't. But I just don't like it personally. Like, I just feel like being realistic, like I gotta rate Adams above, but I think there's a strong possibility that Ridley could finish higher. But at the same time, it's like I
There's a
don't
lot
know
of
if I want to trade
competition.
Debo and McLaurin for Adams. I think that's my biggest thing. Being that I don't like Adams in the first place, can I trade Debo and McLaurin for somebody else? Like, is there any other option that I can possibly trade it for?
What would you, if you were out there shopping and you had Debo and McLaurin up for sale, who would you target? T. Higgins?
Yeah, any of those guys, like from back end wide receiver 1, high end wide receiver 2. And you could argue that McLaurin is that already. I mean, he was what, wide receiver 14, 15 last year or something. So
Let me check.
he ain't that far, he ain't that far off of it. Now, does that happen again with a better, Jahan Dotson, another season for him coming in, and him taking a step up, right? Debo, you've got Ayuk, but a lot of people still believe in Debo. So, yeah, I think just with the possible downside of Debo and McLaurin, I'm okay with doing it for Adams, but I'd like to try
So,
and get someone else. I'll say that basically.
so really quick, just to put things into perspective, and I love Terry McLaurin. I think I think he's a fantastic receiver. And I do think that it's been unfortunate that he's been in Washington, where we probably haven't seen his full potential skill-wise. But here's some perspective on Terry McLaurin and why I would do that for Devontae Adams if that presented itself. Over the 18-game season, Terry McLaurin only had 2 weeks where he finished as a top 10 wide receiver. Right? He only had 4 weeks where he finished as a top 14 receiver. Every other week, he was 27, 37, 24, 80, 27, 46, 43, 54, 50, 34. So Terry McLaurin isn't, and sometimes we like to look at the final numbers, right? Because if you look at Terry McLaurin's final numbers, you love it. He finished PPR 14, 77 grabs, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns. Like, you look at the final stat line, but he's not going to win you weeks, right? He's not going to go out there and smash it on a given week. When you look at Devontae Adams, the final stat line kind of speaks for itself, but on a week-to-week basis, which I like to look at, Devontae Adams had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks where he finished as a top 6 wide receiver. And a couple of weeks he had 2, 3 weeks where he finished as the number 1 wide receiver scoring, 3 of them. And another couple of weeks where he finished 2 and 3. So Devontae Adams can carry you on a given week. And that's why I would take Devontae Adams and trade Debo and McLaurin and go get Devontae Adams, because I still think he can do that even with Jimmy Garoppolo there.
Would you rather have Ridley to get the stack with Lawrence? I think the Lawrence thing kind of tips the scales for me, where it's like, all right, fuck it, give me Ridley at that point. If you believe in Ridley, it depends how much you really believe in Calvin Ridley.
So I do like Ridley a lot. I just wonder, because there are so many capable pieces in that offense. Christian Kirk, who's already been there and has a good rapport with T. Law, right? Evan Ingram, who's already been there and has a good rapport with T. Law. Travis Etienne, who's already been there and has a good rapport with T. Law. I'm not saying Calvin Ridley's not going to be really good, but I think he could be capped just because he plays with a really good skill group, where Devontae Adams is out there getting it, no matter what. So it really depends on how you feel. I don't mind the stack, but I do like the Devontae Adams thing because, like I said, there are weeks where he'll be able to go out there and carry you because he's just that good. And Devontae Adams is better than Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree there. But at this point in time, just with the offense, and that could be a high-powered offense on, the Jaguars. They could be throwing the ball a ton. So, even though there are a lot of, mouths to feed over there, I still think, Ridley can still do his thing if they're going to pass the ball as much. All right, Nikki, I've got your squad up here. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Hopefully, y'all can see this here. This is a dynasty league. I can't see if you got any draft picks. I don't know if I've got it hit into something else, but
I feel like she just said she needs help with her team name, not the team itself. I think that was the crux
well,
of it.
she sent the whole link. Oh, team name. My team is pretty okay, good, I think. But my team name is done. Alabama Doggers. All right, so let's take a look at your team just in general. Anyway,
I already have a couple
got
of
Joe
picks.
Burrow,
Yep.
awesome. AJ Brown, awesome. St. Brown, awesome. Traylon Burks, okay. Bijan, Najee, Hawkinson, Akers, Cook, Mooney, Pacheco, Dillon, Elijah Moore, JSN, Zay Flowers, Mingo, and
This was
Mayer.
the team she sent us yesterday.
Yep.
So I got a couple of team names. I have Joe Burrow on my team. I have actually 2 teams with Joe Burrow. The first one, and I have Jamar Chase, so I just named them Tiger Kings, which was fantastic. My other in redraft, I have Joe Burrow, and it's Burrows before Hose. If you're feeling spicy.
I like that. I've got Burrow in a couple leagues, and I've got a couple Burrow names that I have that I used as well.
AJ Brown is really good. What can Brown do for you? That's a nice little one for AJ Brown. Too many people use to infinity and Bijan. I'm sick of that. I don't want to see that anymore. I'm over that. Yeah. I've had enough of that. You could do some things with TJ Hawkinson that probably might get blanked out. I tried to do something and it blanked me out because I have TJ Hawkinson and it didn't let me do it. You could do something with Mooney, but I don't think he's a big enough part of your team where you want to name your team after Mooney.
I'm good with Burrow. So I'll tell you what one of my team names that I have Joe Burrow on is Coronavirus.
That's so dumb. That's so dumb.
Coronavirus.
That's so dumb. I don't even know what to say to that. That's so ridiculous. Oh God.
Oh my God. And I think my other one is Jovid-19.
I have to start questioning myself after this show.
Oh.
So for Bijan, another one I like better than To Infinity and Bijan is Bijan Mustard. I like that. Something a play on Bijan Mustard. I like that. So yeah.
I had a couple good ones for St. Brown, I think, last year, right? What was my ones for St. Brown that I had last year?
I'm on a mission.
I'm on a mission. Yep, I'm on a mission.
That's not bad.
That was a good one.
I don't mind that at all.
I like that. I'm on a mission. And what was the other one I used? Shit. I can't remember.
I think it was Sun God and the Mahomes. I think you had.
No. That was because it was Dynasty, but that was another one that I had a good one for Sun God. Shit.
Anybody else in the chat? If you got some,
I'm on something. It was a stop. It was I don't know. It was something what I'm on. I've got Dicker the Kicker in one league. Diaz gave me that idea. My team name is Dicker Down.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually. That makes up for Burrow coronavirus or Joe. That's fucking dumb.
Coronavirus.
That's fucking dumb. That makes up for your Joe Burrow team.
Shit. Would do Jerry Jeudy and JT and Zach Charbonnet in a first next year for Tyreek Hill and Kenny Walker. You're giving up Jeudy, JT, and Charbonnet end of first, and you're getting Cheetah and Kenny? Hell no, I'm not doing that.
That's a little too much.
I would take that. Maybe
that's a lot of young upside as well.
Yeah, I would take that if I had Cheetah and Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, that's too much assets to give a young.
Give me the first,
talented
give me
assets.
JT, give me Judy. But yeah, I'm not giving that up to go and get Tyreek Hill and Kenneth Walker. No, that we're not doing, Wolfgang. He said, I like it. I like it. Diaz has always got some good ones. Bean burrows with cheese.
Okay, that's not bad.
Which one? Stop Bijan fish. That's a good one. I like that. I like that.
One of my favorite part.
Check
One of
out
my
the Breeze team. Steve rolls, everyone. Go ahead.
one of my favorite things about, especially after we do our drafts and everything, is just trying to come up with a clever team names. Like in my home league, I have Patrick Mahomes, and I named my team Sherlock Mahomes. I haven't seen too much of that, so I always love naming the teams.
Yeah. Wolfgang said he offered him that. So yeah, I'd take that because you can basically say, Judy in the first for Cheetah, right? And then you give up Kenneth Walker and you get JT and Charbonnet. So yeah.
And you get a first. You can always
Yeah.
package that later on.
You get a first. You get Judy, JT, Charbonnet, and a first. And you're giving up Cheetah and Kenny Walker.
I think Jonathan Taylor, like after this year, he's gonna be valuable, So
Well, I think if you're going for a win now, maybe you don't want to give up Cheetah and Kenny Walker at the moment. I mean, Jerry Judy's hurt. We don't know how long he's going to be out. JT, we don't know what that's going to entail this year. So, you might get almost nothing out of this trade basically this year. But I think just for a pure value perspective and what you can do now, with these pieces, you can kind of do whatever, whatever you want almost. So I like it. Jimmy's G Spot is my team name. Of course it is. One Nation. Of course it is. Nikki said sell Walker. So she's out. You're out on Walker. I was out on Walker, but at the same time, he's almost like becoming a value now. So, I'm not as out as I once was. Just because his value isn't as high as it once was. He used to be like a top 5 damn dynasty back. Now it's pushed down. So
well, he's got the injury. They drafted Charbonnet. And we talk about this, right? How quickly can a running back's value just plummet? Like it happens so fast.
She said, check out It's a Breeze team. A little old. Mahomes, JJ, Cheetah, Keenan Allen, Chubb, Mixon, Andrews, and Kelsey.
And Eckler. And CeeDee Lamb.
And CeeDee and Judy and Pickens. Damn. Yeah, this team is pretty stacked. Even with the old guys like Keenan Allen. I mean, Chubb, you're okay for another year or two. Mixon, same kind of thing, probably.
How many teams in this league? Because this is way too
12.
12? How did he get all these guys in?
Hold on, I'll click on the league in a second. But it's got Mahomes and JJ's and Andrews and Kelsey automatically going to be in it. I mean,
bro, he's got CeeDee Lamb on the bench. How does that work?
No, it is 10 team. Okay, that makes more sense. But still,
man,
that's still shit.
Hell of a team.
Oh yeah. So we've got, man, not even 2 days now. Pacheco would be lead running back, and Sky Moore would be first receiver. Are you talking about what? Just for your team?
If he made that trade.
If you made that trade?
That's not that good.
Yeah, well, if you made that trade, I mean, your team is your team good? Like, are you being competitive right now? I mean, if you don't think you're gonna win, then yeah, just give me the first and Judy and JT, so I have some assets that I can trade for more picks. I mean, or players. I think if that means that would be your lead back and first wide receiver, then you're probably not really in a true contention if Cheetah and Walker are like the main guys you're relying on there. So, and the fact that you're even entertaining it just means that it probably makes sense. So, I would take it and basically punt the year. I mean, wait for Judy to come back. You can trade him or keep him. He's a good young wide receiver to have. JT, same thing. You can trade him or keep him depending what you can get for him. And then you got the extra first for next year, and you just kind of see what happens from there. Make moves accordingly.
Yeah.
Any other questions y'all got? Throw them out there before we get up out of here. Appreciate everybody for coming out here tonight. We'll be on tomorrow night. It's the last night, basically. Then we've got the game on Thursday. So,
Man, that's exciting, bro.
Where are we watching the game on Thursday? Thursday is Prime,
NFL
right?
NFL Network is Prime.
Is it Prime, right? Thursday nights is Prime. Amazon.
I'm bringing it up right now. It is on NBC.
NBC. Which one is Prime? I thought Prime was Thursdays.
It says NBC here. They could simulcast it on Prime as well. They might have like a contract to
maybe.
Because Prime was doing it last year.
Is NBC part of the Disney thing where they took out ESPN?
I have no idea, dude.
Oh.
I think ABC is Disney. ABC and ESPN is Disney.
That'd be tight. Itty Bitty South City was good. 14-team half PPR. Gino, Chase, Devonta, Najee, Akers, DJ Moore, Dotson, Elijah Moore, Renfro, Brees Hall, Hunt, Ferguson, Dolchich. Need one flex and one tight end.
Okay.
We need a flex and a tight end. I mean, you got to play DJ Moore. I don't think that's even a question on this team. And then it's between Dotson and Elijah Moore. Oh, no, it's only one flex. Okay, one flex and one tight end.
Yeah, the flex is DJ Moore. You can't.
Yeah.
And don't forget, he's got Brees Hall there as well. So that's.
Yeah, we're not playing Brees in week 1, though.
No.
So, yeah, I think DJ Moore, I think we're both agreeing to throw in the flex there. And then we've got to pick one tight end out of Ferguson, Dolchich, and your boy Schultz. Which one we going with?
Dolchich is interesting. It's not great. I'm leaning Schultz. Yeah, I think I'm leaning Schultz here. Ferguson, I mean, I don't know what Ferguson is yet. Is he going to pick up some of that Dalton Schultz slack? It seems like they really like him on that offense. Dallas. Yeah, you know what? I'll go Ferguson here as well. But a shout out to Dalton Schultz.
Because I think what's his name is hurt, the rookie that they drafted.
Schoonmaker.
So yeah, give me Ferguson. Ferguson for sure. I think Ferguson's a sneaky guy that could be like their next Dalton Schultz type of dude.
That.
So yeah, give me some Ferguson. Dolchich is interesting because obviously no Jerry Jeudy most likely. Obviously they haven't rolled him out yet, but and then Schultz is another good one that Hammer likes as well. But yeah, give me some Ferguson here. 10-team half PPR, T-Law, Ridley, Keenan Allen, Saquon, Pollard, Hawkinson, bench, Dotson, Pickens, Sky, Thielen, Madison, McKinnon, Kincaid need one flex. Who we rolling with, Hammer?
If Terry McLaurin doesn't play, it's Dotson.
Yeah, but we won't know that because Sky Moore plays on Thursday.
Good point.
Or does Madison bat an eye here?
I was looking at Madison as well. I think if I have solid wide receiving options, I like to go with wide receivers in my flex. So based on that, I don't know if you could roll the dice on Dotson. if McLaurin does play. Pickens, interesting, but probably not. Yeah, it's between Sky Moore and Dotson here for me. And if you want to roll the dice on Dotson, that's fine. But the safer play is probably Sky Moore. And I hate this because I've had to fucking pick him 3 times in these stupid scenarios. So yeah.
Really pulling it out for Sky Hammer.
Listen, I'm being objective. I'm not crazy about him, but the options are the options.
Yeah, because Pickens, they've got the 49ers, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, they do.
So, yeah, for me, it's either Dotson, Sky, or Madison. Can kind of go with either of those guys. If Kelsey doesn't play, like, I'm really, really going for Sky more there. So I think that might be the telling factor. Like, if Kelsey plays, then I might go Dotson.
Or Madison.
Pickens is close, but I'm playing Dotson over him, or even Madison. I mean, because they're going against a little bit of a tougher D. So, if Kelsey doesn't play, give me Sky. If Kelsey plays, give me Dotson or Madison, whoever you like better. But at that point, then you can probably tell. Well, like, what time is Dotson's game and the Viking game? Like, who will you know? When will we know if Terry is going to be?
Dotson is 1:00.
Okay.
And the Vikings are 1:00, same time. So you'll know.
So you should be able to know if Terry doesn't play, then it's definitely Dotson. And then at that point, you'll know if Terry does play, then maybe you can lean Madison. But I think right now, if Kelsey's not playing, I think I'm just going to take the chance on Sky. Wolfgang said NBC. Yeah, first game of the. That's right. They don't start until the second week. You're right. Thoughts on Dotson over DJ if McLaurin out? That's tough if McLaurin's out. Then it becomes a conversation, but I'm probably still going to roll with DJ.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as well. Now the Bears are playing the Packers, and the Packers are supposed to have a better defense. They have good corners, with Jair Alexander over there on most likely on DJ Moore for most of that game. So that's it. It really depends on how you feel, about Sam Howell. I don't know how I feel about Sam Howell, but if McLaurin doesn't play, then you have to use a little bit of logic there and say that Dotson is going to be the biggest beneficiary of McLaurin not playing. So kind of have to just value it that way.
Yeah, that's true. McLaurin's out. I still kind of lean DJ, but that's a real tough conversation. Even the points that you brought up with Alexander. That's a rough one. Niner said, y'all got any more leagues? Not at the moment, no. Next year, we will. We didn't do any redrafts. Maybe we'll do a redraft follower one next year.
I like that.
Don't have any wide receivers, but who would you choose between Collins, Quentin Johnson, or JSN?
I think it's JSN, right? Are you talking season long? Are you talking for the first couple of weeks? Like what is your situation?
I think he's talking about week 1 because he says he doesn't have any receiver. Maybe he's not talking about week 1. I don't know. If you're talking about for the season, then yes, JSN, I think. Would you agree as JSN for the season?
I can make the argument for Quentin Johnston, which I have. And to be fair, JSN is coming off an injury, and they might want to bring him along a little slow. Obviously, I think by week 8, he'll be full steam ahead. Quentin Johnston as well, and Quentin Johnston might have more volume because of the injury-prone and inconsistent wide receivers that he plays with. We don't have those same questions about DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. So, I could make the argument it is Quentin Johnston, but JSN is obviously the superior talent, but he's in a different situation. So those are two ways to look at it, but it would be JSN. I'm not going to sit here and, put on a show, but I do think Quentin Johnson has a really good path to production this season.
Yeah, no, I agree. But what if he is talking about just this week alone?
Quentin Johnston.
Week 1. Are you playing Nico Collins, Quentin Johnson, or JSN?
Quentin Johnston.
You're playing Quentin Johnson. I don't know if I'm on that train yet, being that it's the first game of the season, and Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both healthy.
I'll take my chance.
I actually like Nico Collins. They might be throwing a lot this week, especially if they're down. And Nico is pretty much like the number 1 guy. So I think I'll roll with Nico week 1.
Who do the Chargers play? Hold on. We haven't really talked a ton.
Chargers could be a good game as well. They play the Dolphins, so it could be some high scoring. But just being that he's like the third fiddle is just rough at first, or even the fourth. They said Palmer's ahead of him on the depth chart, but who knows what that means. Just being that it's the first game, I think I just kind of want to see how they disperse him, or how they want to use him, or how they kind of take it, right off the bat. JSN, I mean, similar situation, but he's also hurt coming off with the wrist injury, so I'm not as comfortable really playing him week 1, even if he's okay and he's going to be playing. I just think they might want to take it easy on him, and they might not give him a full kind of workload. So, but yeah, I'll go Nico. All right, so I'm going Nico. Hammer's going Quentin. Washington does play Arizona. 249er said, I think I'm gonna go Collins. Okay. And what's your feeling? What's your take on Collins? Anything other than what I said that makes you feel like you want to go, that particular route?
No, I wonder if, especially with Quentin Johnston coming in, and listen, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams have gotten hurt in games. Now, you can't bank on that going into the week. I understand that. But also, too, like, Mike Williams has been very inconsistent, right? Like, even when he's out there, he's not the guy. So I think if Mike Williams is a little inconsistent early on, maybe they look to get Quentin Johnston involved and see what he could kind of do, and see if he's a better, fills in a better role than Mike Williams at this point, because Mike Williams is no sure thing. I know they did pay him and he's had his moments, but Mike Williams isn't exactly a star. You know what I mean? So Keenan Allen is Keenan Allen. I'm not going to disrespect him. I think he's tremendous, a little bit older, but Mike Williams isn't exactly that dude. So that's kind of my reasoning on that. But listen, Nico Collins, for all intents and purposes, you made all the good points where they're probably going to be throwing a ton if they're behind. And listen, garbage time points count.
Yeah, I just think he's the biggest target there in Houston. He's the most, I guess you can say, polished or experienced, guy there. Obviously, you got Dell and Hutchinson and some of the other guys, but yeah, I'm just I'm a Nico guy. I like Nico, but we'll see what happens. There's just a ton of guys there, but I think in week 1 he might be a guy that can give you some decent production there. But I think we're about to get up out of here. Appreciate everybody for coming out to be on tomorrow night, one more night before the start of the season. So any last kind of questions or anything, but appreciate everybody out there. Hammer, you got any last words for the people?
I am a man of the people.
Ellen, it's Sky Moore week 1, baby.
I'm going to have to deal with this all season. Sky Moore. Get that.
Oh, shit. All right, y'all. Appreciate it. Smash that like for us, guys. If you had fun here, smash that subscribe if you're new and you had some fun. Other than that, peace, y'all.
Ready, Jim? I'm ready. Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Show me the money.
Oh, you didn't know?
Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling.
Put my shoes on, you wouldn't last a mile.
Summertime, wintertime, I'm on the grind. Yeah, I got the ring, I'm the champ, I'm the Judy of the lamb. This is the gift I was given, so I just live by my hustle.